Hi, and welcome to the first edition of a Forsberg Winter Wonderland. I am your host, Ryan Cost. I am joined by Matt Marsman. How are you, Matt?
Not bad. How are you doing today?
Pretty good after a victory. Next, I have
Yes, Ryan.
Vance Long. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good. Our third analyst is Jess Hanna from Wisconsin. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
As I said, good after a victory. Can't ask for nothing more than a shutout. And finally, we have Jenna Blake to round out the podcast. How are you doing, Jenna?
I'm doing really good after that victory.
Okay, so since it's the first podcast, I wanted to start out with how we all became Avs fans, and let's start with you, Matt. How did you become an Avs fan?
Well, my mother was a Nordiques fan since the 90s, so of course I followed suit. And when they left for Colorado, I just followed the team there. Fortunately, my mother did not.
Vance, how did you become an Avs
Yeah.
fan?
I became an Avs fan when I first started playing hockey. After I thought I was gonna play football, but I thought football was just a little bit too much, so I decided to play hockey. Gave it a try, and I went to my first Avs game. Was with Dave Abisher, longtime goalie. So ever since I loved the game of hockey and just fell in love with the Avalanche.
Nice. Jess, you're from Wisconsin, so how did you become an Avs fan?
Interesting story there. When I was younger, playing NHL 96 or 97 on the Sega Genesis, I I liked the colors, and so I just used the team, and I've liked them ever since. It's because of Sega.
That's pretty cool. And Jenna, I think you're from Colorado as well. So how did you become an Avs fan?
Well, I grew up in a hockey family. Both of my older brothers played hockey, so I pretty much grew up at a hockey rink. And my brothers grew up in the glory days of when that Colorado Avalanche was the Colorado Avalanche when they first began in the league. So it was natural for me to become an Avs fan.
Nice. I guess I'll go last. I became an Avs fan through my uncle Daniel. He went to CC College, which go Tigers. In the glory years of the 2001 when they won the cup, and he got me to follow Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg, Rob Blake, Alex Tangay, Patrick Waugh. It was the glory years, so I really loved the Avalanche then, and just have followed them ever since. So that's how I became an Avs fan.
That's what's up, man.
Yep. So we've lost the 3 of the last 4 games, and so I wanted your thoughts on these past 4 games. Let's start with you, Matt. You had the Vegas home game, that ended in a shootout. What do you think?
So, from following the game, the aspects that I got mainly was I felt like our defensive presence was there, but we were clicking on a lot of chances offensively. And back to this.
Oh, he's cutting out. Matt, you there? I think we lost Matt. Anyone else there?
I'm here.
I'm here.
All right. Well, Jenna, we'll go to you. What do you think of the Vegas home game?
Honestly, we played against Vegas previous, and they just kicked our butts. But that was just a different group in the beginning of the season. But with the first home game, it was pretty exciting, just back and forth, good old hockey. And then when Landy scored that goal in the shootout to end it, I was thrilled. So it was a fun hockey game.
Yeah, I thought it was a goaltender battle. What do you think of that goaltending battle?
Varlamov is a beast. And then Fleury's, has been amazing his whole career. So it was really exciting to see them just go back and forth. And obviously, Varley was a better goalie in the end.
All right. Well, with that game closed up, Vance, what do you think of the Vegas away game? Vance, you there? Vance? You're muted. You're muted.
Oh, I hit the mute button. My bad. I apologize.
It's all good. So
Are we there?
what do you think of the Avs the Vegas Knights away game?
Well, I thought, like she said before, got our butts kicked by Vegas, but we really didn't know how Vegas was going to be. If they were going to be, since they're a new team, we didn't know if they were going to be bad, good. But come to find out, they're a tough team. And, we thought we could never compete against these guys because these guys have, you know, good caliber players. Plus, Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, I thought after we tied it 1-1, we took that stupid double minor, and I thought that really hurt us because they ended up scoring after that. What did you think about that?
I think it was just stupid, pathetic excuse of pulling something really dumb like that. Getting our emotions to us, to the best of us, taking double minors, taking stupid penalties, costly turnovers, forechecking, back checking, passing. Pathetic, but no.
Yeah. Well, Jess, we'll go to you with the Flyers game. What did you think of the Flyers game?
Well, we got off to a really slow start, and something that I've been noticing throughout the season is our defense just coughing up defensive zone pucks and not controlling it. And they picked it up in the second period and the third period, and just the puck didn't bounce our way, and it was really frustrating to watch. I'm sitting here just screaming, and it's like it just seems that if we would have had that tight of defense or that aggressive forecheck in the first period, you know, the game would have come out differently. Hamburglar played awesome. He gave up 2 goals, but you know, Varley gives up goals too because our defense can't contain the puck and get it out. And um, it was 2 points left on the table that we should have gotten.
Yeah. It was a tough game
I
to swallow, I have to say.
I couldn't agree more.
Jenna, what did you think of this last game that we had against the Blackhawks? I think our special teams killed it, personally.
I mean, I feel like we really rely on Varlamov, and he can only do so much, and our defense doesn't clean it up, because we can't just go through the playoffs relying on our goalie.
Exactly. You know,
And I've been seeing, comments like, oh, Barley this, Barley that, Barry this, Barry that. You can't always rely on the goalie. The goalie has one job, and that's stopping the pucks. He can't, protect, the defense. If the defense turns it over, he can't go here, he can't go there. He has to do his job, is keeping the pucks out of the net. So the defense has to be a lot better setting it up and then, forechecking. And then instead of, throwing passes up the middle, making careless passes.
Matt, we're
Yeah.
talking about
Turnovers.
goalie reliance. What do you think about our goaltending reliance? What do you think?
I can't complain about it. It's been pretty good.
Okay. So we just had the Blackhawks game, which ended at 5-0. Which I thought our special teams really was on fire, scoring I think 4 power play goals if I'm not mistaken.
Three. Yeah,
Okay.
3.
Well, going to the next question, I guess we should come back to coming from a historically awful season, missing out on the #1 pick, and now having a chance at the playoffs. How impressed are you with these guys? We'll start with you, Matt.
I
Matt,
think he's muted.
are you muted? I think you're muted.
I mean, I'm pretty impressed.
Okay.
After a horrible season last year, we started out good, then we just played terrible. Coming this year, I like it. Some guys made mistakes. Barry's made mistakes. Defense, you know, Nathan McKinnon, you know,
Yeah,
playing MVP.
he's playing for a Hart candidate. We'll get to that. Jenna, how impressed are you with these guys?
I mean, I'm very impressed. I think why we've had the success that we've had is because we got rid of Cancer, Duchesne. And I feel that kind of opened up this kind of playing field, I think, for our rookies to really come and showcase. Also, McKinnon, I feel like now that he's kind of like our go-to centerman, he's on fire this year because he has that kind of attention to him. I'm very impressed. It's been really fun. Of course, with any season, you can have ups and downs, but it's been really fun.
Do you think we make the playoffs this year, Jenna?
I mean, we got in a slump and are on time, but I think if we push through these last 4 games, we can make it to playoffs. But we have to push through though, for sure. Go
What's
on almost like a game winning streak from now on.
Jess? How about you? How impressed are you with these guys?
Leaps and bounds, Brian. Doubling the points from last season to this season. Honestly, thinking about it, compared to last year, Bednar didn't really have an opportunity to institute any of his off-season goals or anything like that because of Patrick Waugh leaving so abruptly, and then he didn't have a whole summer to kind of tune the offense and the defense, and now he did, and look what it has benefited from, or
That's a really great
look the
point.
benefits that we're reaping from it. I mean,
That's a really
they
great
doubled
point.
their points from last year. They're right in the playoff race. They're competitive. They're young. Bringing in who they bring? Didn't they bring in Comfer this year?
Confer and Joseph's starting his rookie season, so basically, and
Yeah.
so is Kerfoot.
Yeah, I mean, and then they got Nemeth from Dallas, I believe,
Yep.
and just nothing huge, Paul Stastny going to Winnipeg, but great pickups that really kind of brought the chemistry and brought the team together, and I'm loving it. I'm loving each game.
Matt, how impressed are you with these guys? If we can get a hold of you.
I think I'm finally back. I'm not 100%.
All right, but how impressed are you with these guys?
When I first seen, I took a look at the roster at the start of the season, and I remember thinking, these are young kids. What do we really have? What do we really know what we have? And then you get through September, and it's kind of like, well, they're not too bad. And then you get closer to the middle of December, and you start looking at the team, and you're kind of worried. You're like, maybe this isn't going to work out too well. But then they caught fire, and you see that chemistry just start to build, and you realize, Sakic really did a good job with the waiver wire. We picked up Andrew Ghetto. I think he got Andrew Ghetto in a trade, but I know we picked up a couple players off the waiver, like Namath and a few other
Mike
people
Alt was
that
picked
made.
off waivers from Philadelphia.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, though. He instead of trading off assets, he's looking for the best possible people that he could get without fracturing the future of this team, without taking away from what we're trying to build from. And I think he's done a great job, in my opinion. The team isn't where we all want it to be. Obviously, we want to be a Stanley Cup team, but I think in the terms of heading towards the future, I think we've done a great job. You know what I mean? I'm not too upset with what we got this year, going from where we were at last year.
Now we talked to go a little backwards a little bit. Matt, I wanted your thoughts on the Vegas home game. What did you think? We had Jenna's opinion, but let's hear your thoughts on it.
Sorry, yeah, as I was saying, with the first game, the 2-1 shootout victory, I thought that it was for us defensively, I was pretty impressed with how well we handled Vegas. I felt like we still pushed the pace against them, and Vegas pushes the pace, so the pace was back and forth. Both scoring chances coming either way. I thought Varley played fantastic, especially going up against Fleury. I mean, Fleury is just a legendary goalie to be. So I thought they did a really good job. I think that they could have won that game in regulation if not for Fleury. I think Fleury really stole that game and stole Vegas the point that they got. And then I mean, you get Varley into the shootout, and Varley's just phenomenal in the shootout. He stops all 3 shots, and then Landeskog just scores the goal. Like, he made it look so easy. It was a good game for us, I think.
Awesome. So let's go to the fourth question, and this is kind of a hot commodity with the Hart Trophy with this year, with Nathan McKinnon being the lead candidate for this year's Avs. Do you think he deserves it with Connor McDavid hitting 100 points already? Let's go to you, Vance.
That's a I don't know. That's a tricky one. I mean, McKinnon's playing hard, but McDavid's playing a little bit harder. I mean, when we play Edmonton, we can't stop Connor McDavid. He's like Alexander Ovechkin for the Capitals. No
And
one
he's
can
a hard
stop.
candidate too.
Seriously.
No one can stop Ovechkin. You know, when Ovechkin's sitting right in the circle by himself, gets the puck, scores against us. You know, McDavid's, flying around us and scoring. I think McKinnon deserves it, but
Do you think he
I
deserves
might
it
have
if we
to.
miss the playoffs?
If we miss the playoffs, that's a tricky one. I think so. I mean,
You still do? Okay. Jenna,
he's yeah.
how about you? What do you think? Does he deserve the Hart Trophy?
I mean, it's kind of hard because technically, number-wise, Connor McDavid is better. But to me, I think McKinnon's had a comeback here. Last year just sucked, and no one was producing anything. But he comes out of the gate strong, fascinating, and interesting. And I like every time he touches the puck and handles it, I'm amazed. And I feel like he's young, and I definitely do believe that he should win it. But technically, I mean, I think Connor McDavid will win it unless he just has a huge point streak. But I think it'd be more fun to see McKinnon win it.
I have to agree. Jess, your thoughts on McKinnon and the Hart Trophy?
I look at you got to look at the teams. Edmonton, they're not in the playoffs. They're not in the running for the playoffs. Colorado is. Connor McDavid has 103 points, but the number 2 player on his team is Drysdale or
Draisaitl.
yeah, he's got 68 points. It's such a lopsided team they have where they're focusing all of their efforts on McDavid, whereas with the Avalanche, you got Gabe Landeskog, you got Mikko Rantanen. I mean, Tyson Barrie is the 4th highest scorer or goal scorer on the team right now.
Yeah.
Well, I think we got to think of as well. We haven't even mentioned Kucherov or Evgeny Malkin or Claude Giroux either, and those are top cans that are going for either the President's Trophy or a playoff spot too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those guys are pushing the pace for their teams for sure.
Giroux, I don't think so. I don't think
you don't think so?
I don't think so. I think it might be like McKinnon, McDavid, the guy from Tampa.
Well, you got to give it to at least Ovechkin and Evgeny Malkin for what they're doing for their teams, and Kucherov.
Well, I think Ovechkin, with him throwing up 40-plus goals every season for how old he is, throwing 40-plus goals, even though he hasn't, gone past the first round of the playoffs, I think he kind of deserves it.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to Nathan McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen. They made a significant jump in their stages of their careers. They start last year. Both of them were ranging from between 40 and 50 points, and now they're both plus 80 points. What do you guys think of that, Jenna?
I mean, last year sucked, but I was very impressed with Rantanen. I mean, I remember last year when he got his first hat trick, and I kind of knew, okay, this is our guy. This could be our future. And I think with him on the first line and with a team that is producing compared to last year, that's why he's producing. That's why he's setting up plays. That's why he's scoring goals. Again, with McKinnon, I feel like with getting rid of Duchesne, you have that go-to centerman that we have because we got rid of Duchesne. And with McKinnon's vision on the ice and his speed and his handling with the puck, he's able to set up those plays to get meet those goals. And I'm very impressed with both of them. I think they both belong on the first line. They both produce. I think our first line is booming because of them.
Jess, what do you think? Did you see this kind of jump from them?
I really didn't follow the team much last year. I think I explained that to you earlier.
Yeah.
However, I have been noticing a lot of negativity towards Matt Duchene, and
Yeah. Did you?
that 2014 season, you had Duchene, you had McKinnon's rookie year, you still had Landeskog, you had Stasny, P. Parenteau, Ryan O'Reilly. I mean, good,
That was
good, good players.
it was a stellar roster.
Oh yeah, and that's why it stings still that they got eliminated in Game 7.
Right.
Let's not bring that up. Let's not bring up old wounds. But Matt, did you see this kind of jump from their careers?
I personally did not see this coming. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I watched McKinnon with the Mooseheads, and I personally was not sure if he could reach this level in the NHL. I mean, you got to think there's bigger bodies, the game's a lot faster. I didn't see him. He was not as physical as a Moosehead, so I wasn't sure he was going to become the player that he is right now. I see him on the boards. He's getting crashed. Like, they're just crashing and burning that guy on the boards, and he's just making plays. So, I mean, I did not see this coming from Mac at all. Neither Rantanen. I knew Rantanen was going to be a decent player, but, I mean, he is phenomenal. Like, he's actually phenomenal for being as young as he is. Like, he's only going to get better.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of, like, he doesn't have the shot that Patrick Laine does, but he produces the same amount of points and numbers that Laine is producing.
Listen, he's definitely comparable with the elite rookies. I mean, if you go look at Austin Matthews, even he doesn't have as many points as Rantanen right now. So, that says it all to me. Rantanen is doing his thing.
Vance, lastly, what do you think of? Did you think that they could catch this kind of jump?
McKinnon, I could see he could make the jump. I mean, learning from, unfortunately, Matt Duchene. I mean, Matt Duchene, won face-offs, and I think McKinnon kind of, saw what Matt was doing. The speed, setting up, shooting, scoring goals. Brandon, I'm surprised. I'm shocked. I didn't see it coming at all.
It has to be
whatsoever.
a pleasant surprise for Rantanen. And then I have to say, like, Rantanen has really impressed me the most out of all the players, because I didn't see him doing 80 points on a first line like he has.
No, that's a shocker. And I mean,
I know.
What about Nikita Zadorov? What about him?
Yeah, he has the most hits in the NHL. Like, that speaks for itself, I think. The most hits in the NHL. Though he did get away with a cross-check tonight. It was dirty pool.
I mean,
If it wasn't called, then it wasn't a penalty.
I expected Zadorov personally. I watched him last year, and I really liked what I saw. I thought he trended off a little bit at the start of the season, but he's definitely picked up.
I mean, he's made some, that if he plays, but I mean, I think he's kind of like a Cody McLeod type player. He's just hitting and stepping up for the team, doing what he needs to do.
Doing the dirty work, I would say.
Well, I see him becoming kind of like Victor Hedman eventually. Like, that's the style of game that I see that he could play if he keeps grinding and tries to become that kind of player.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you, Matt. Jenna, what do you think about Zadorov?
I'm very impressed with him. I mean, he's really fun to watch when he is, in his mode and just is hitting guys left and right. I think with the kind of lack of defense, he is our kind of defense, and he's really exciting to watch. He just is a beast, guys. I mean, honestly.
How
I mean,
how do
for
you
a big
go
for a
ahead?
big guy like him, he could play better defense. I mean, he's got that build and he's tall. If he could play a lot better defense, I mean, no one could probably go around him. He hit him, throw him on the ground. You know, but
Yeah, I
I think
definitely
I
wouldn't want
think
to
he
fight
can
him.
improve defense. His hitting is fine, scoring goals is fine, but like Jenna said, lack of defense could
I
improve.
I think it's his speed personally. He's a little slower. They go around the edge on him a lot.
So you think he's like Zdeno Chara?
He's a little faster than Sedano, but at the end of
Well,
the
that's just
day,
because Zdeno's like slow
I
and he's
mean, he's
old.
he's slow, yeah, and he's old, but I think if he can look up to some of these guys like Chara, all these other guys,
Score
I
update.
think
The Kings and Ducks are in OT right now. Hopefully the Ducks lose and they only gain a
Kings
wow.
and
point.
Ducks.
And St. Louis just tied it up at 3.
Ah,
Of
great.
course, Colorado.
Well,
Of course.
let's go to the sixth question because this is the one that intrigued me the most about this podcast. There was a lot. Jenna and I raised the discussion a few different posts on the Facebook page and got a considerable amount of hate for saying that the top second line isn't good enough with Kerfoot, Jost, and Comfort. Do you think having a rookie second line is good enough to be in the top 6 and furthermore pushing the playoffs? Let's go with you, Jenna.
I personally think it's horrible. I don't like it at all. I think that we need a veteran on that line
Or
with
Matt.
them. Someone. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I thought you
No,
were
it's
just.
okay.
I
My
think
bad.
so. I think so.
Matt, continue on. We'll go to Jenna next.
Sorry, Jenna. Yeah. I personally, when it comes to the rookie line, not enough production, not enough back checking. They're not great at cycling. They're not great at breaking up cycles. So, I mean, when we get into our zone and the other teams start cycling, I find they get trapped, which means that it only leads to them being drained, dying for a change. And then whatever line we put out next gets caught in whatever cycle's going on. So I don't like it. I think that maybe if we put someone like Bork on that line to push the pace and maybe forecheck a little bit, we could keep the edge off of them. I personally, I don't know. I see Comper more as not a top 6 guy. I like his goal scoring ability, but I feel like he's more of a grinder. He can grind for the puck, and he should be on the line with people to teach him how to do that.
Okay.
I think they need to find a veteran guy to help the rookies out. Go out, look at the market.
Yeah, Jenna
See
raised
what
that.
they can find.
Jenna raised that up. Do you want to speak about that, Jenna?
Yeah, I just think that there's not enough NHL, true NHL experience on this team. I think most of our NHL experience is on that first line, and we need, because McKinnon is McKinnon, and he's always going to be McKinnon, and we need a second line that backs him up. I feel like that's kind of where we're downfalling. Our first line is great, but then the downfall is the second line, and I feel like if we're going to spend the cap space, we need another, NHL player that has experience because. Besides that, our first line, there's no true NHL experience.
Well, the free agency is kind of loaded this year, I think. Who would you like to see there, Jenna?
I mean, I know Tavares I could see, but at the same time, I kind of do sense that could be another Duchesne situation. But I think anyone who really has NHL experience, a Kane, Evander Kane or something, but we need someone. Sakic truly needs to spend the money on someone.
Jess, going to you. Were you familiar with the post that me and Jenna raised, and were you able to get in the discussion about it? What'd you think?
I didn't see it, but I'm gonna play the devil's advocate here. I like this line. I think as rookies they need to learn and grow in the NHL together, and they do have the guidance of the veterans, but they can do this in their own way. And what is really being overlooked is the lack of defense. Like Matt said, they get caught in a cycle or they get caught in a change and they can't get the puck out, but that's because the defense isn't doing anything to back them up and help them out. And I think that's what really needs to be the focus. Like we saw Comfer, he is just blooming as an NHL player. And, I think these guys, they kind of, like I said, they need to grow together, and we need to focus on getting some defense
So
to
you
back
don't
up our forwards.
so you don't think Bednar because in my opinion, I think Bednar hangs them out to dry a little bit because he doesn't allow for veteran experience to be there. Do you disagree with that, or do you think they're just learning on their own?
Well, I think they're on a line together for a reason, and we as fans might not have seen it, but Bednar does. And I don't think he's hanging them out to dry, and if he is, then it's for a learning experience, so they know and recognize the situations, and they can pull themselves out on their own instead of having to be bailed out by Bork or Soderberg or um, McKinnon or anyone, any of the veterans. I think it's
Score
good that they learn together.
score update: Ducks just won, so they just gained 2 points. So they are sitting firmly in that first wild card spot, and the Blues and Golden Knights are still tied at 3-3 with 10 minutes to go. Matt,
Ugh.
Great guys.
Matt, going
Not
to
good
you.
news.
What do you think about the? I know you have your a different opinion than Jess on the rookie line, but do you think he hangs them out to dry, or what do you think needs to be done there?
I personally think that Bednar does hang them out to dry a little bit. He puts them in sometimes in situations I don't think are the right situations for them. Sometimes maybe put out that fourth line against some of the lines that he put. Like sometimes he puts them out there, and it's not. You want to put them in situations where they can be successful, and he ends up putting them in a situation that doesn't give them any success at all, nor any momentum. And I don't like that sometimes. Sometimes he mixes up the lines all the time, but he won't mix up the rookie line when the good line's doing good. Sometimes the rookie line's falling off and needs some help.
Let's kick it to Vance. What do you think about that hit on Varley?
The hit on Burley, it you know, I see him. He was trying, like the announcers were saying, he was trying to cut, and I could see it. I could see him catching his back edge, and flew in. Nothing he could do about it. It just, it is
What do
what
you
it
think
is.
this means for our playoff hopes?
Well, I mean, with Bernier, I mean, he's got playoff experience. He's got Stanley Cup experience. So, I mean, if it comes down to, Varley being out, then, we got to just, count on Bernier. I mean, he's done not too bad, you know, but I think it might just have to come down to Bernier.
Yeah.
Keep keep Varley out. I think, I don't care if he's not hurt or hurt. If he's not hurt, I would keep him out, the rest of the season. Let him rest up, let him heal. Put Bernier or have Hammond or was it Martin or something? Martin?
Spencer Martin, yep.
Spencer Martin, one of those guys. I mean, I saw a lot of complaints, saying, "Oh, put Martin in." We've seen Martin play. We've never seen,
The Hamburglar.
the Hamburger play. So, we got a little taste of what he can do. Yeah, he gave up some goals, but, I mean, look at his record. His record was not too bad. So
Jenna,
I
what do you
think
think the hit on Varley was, and do you think it hurts our playoff hopes?
I mean, it sucked. I feel like, that's a scene we're kind of too familiar with as Avs fans with Barley. I mean, we don't really know how serious it is, so we can't really make a final statement about it because maybe he's just fine. But again, I would think because Bernier has that experience in the playoffs that you would want him in net, if we do make it to the playoffs. It just sucks because Riley has been on a road recently, and But you know what? At the same time, Bernier was honestly one of the reasons why we were able to do that 10-game winning streak. You know, he was in net all those 10 games. So I have faith in Bernier if it does come to that.
Jess, what do you think of the hit, and what do you think it does to our chances to the playoffs?
I think the hit was uncalled for. Guys shouldn't have been going full bore down the middle in a 4-0 game. You know, you're getting your butt kicked. You're not coming back from it. Lighten up a little bit, to prevent injuries. As far as the playoffs go, I'm not worried about our goaltending at all. Bernie has been a rock. Hammond showed that he's got, he proved himself. And he didn't he get Ottawa into the playoffs a couple years ago, going 20-1 or something like that. I mean, just an amazing streak. So I'm not concerned about our goaltending. I'm concerned about our defense.
Yeah,
I think it was
the defensive zone.
Matt, what do you think of the hit?
Well, I've watched Jurko for a lot of years. I've never seen him to be a dirty player. It happens. He was cutting to the net, lost his edge. At the end of the day, Riley was trying to make the save, so it's two unfortunate circumstances together. I mean, I know they're losing, but they want to score the goal. You don't want to get shut out, and Riley doesn't want to give up the shutout. So, it's two people wanting something just as much as each other, and you get an injury out of it.
Do you think we still make the playoffs with Varley out, or if he's determined to be out for the next 4 games that we have left?
I'm completely comfortable with or without Varley. I believe in Bernier, and I mean, I've been wanting to see Hammond all season, and after watching him, I'm like, that's exactly why I wanted to see him. So I have trust that even without Varley, we still have solid goaltending. I think this is the most solid our goaltending has been in a long time.
That was one of the comments that was brought up in my free agent talk, that we needed goaltending because Bernier is a UFA. Who do you think we need to go for in the free agency market, Matt?
If they are smart, they will re-sign Bernier because he knows the system. If they try to get somebody new right now, they're foolish because Riley is not going to stop being number one. As much as I don't love Riley. Sometimes he cheats the stance and gets beat over. I mean, he's 33%. 33% of his goals get scored over his glove hand, and that can be improved just by his stance alone. But at the end of the day, we're going to keep Varley, so I would say we should try to re-sign Bernier. If we don't try to re-sign Bernier, we're foolish.
Would you like an elite forward at all, or?
I personally, if we were going to go for a forward in free agency, I really like JVR. I think that he understands the tempo of our game just from playing with the Leafs. And I think he would be a good fit on our second line and would give us that scoring depth. I mean, the guy's a 30-goal scorer. We'd be so comfortable with somebody like that on the second line.
Jess, I see the blue line argument that you're trying to make. Would you like us to sign Carlson from the Washington Capitals instead of a JVR, or where would you like to go?
I'm not too sure who's coming up to be available in this offseason, but I think Carlson might be too expensive. Isn't that what they were trying to go for before the trade deadline? And it would have been like a third-party trade. We would have been able to get him, which obviously it didn't work out.
No.
I think he was talking about Carlson from Washington.
Yeah, Carlson from the Washington Capitals.
Yeah, John Carlson.
Oh,
it's
John
all right.
Carlson. Yeah, I don't know who's coming up yet.
Vance,
I mean,
who would you like us to go for in the free agency?
I don't know. I don't even know who's a free agent and who's not. But I've been looking up and seen Niemi, the goalie for Dallas. Possible landing spots. Colorado has him as a possible landing spot.
Would you like a Paul Stastny return? Because he's up for free agency, and I kind of like him with 54 points if he can produce that again.
Well, Paul Stastny, yeah.
It's his hometown.
It's his hometown, and I mean, when we made that playoff run against Minnesota, he played unbelievable. You add Paul Stastny, McKinnon, and then Stastny helping out with these rookies, getting them better. I'd like to see McKinnon return. I wouldn't mind
or
it at
Stats, you
all.
mean?
Oh,
It's
Paul
all right.
Sta-
It's all
Paul
right.
Stastny return. Yes, I wouldn't mind seeing
Jenna,
Stastny return.
if we do make the playoffs, who would you like us to see? The Vegas Knights or the Nashville Predators?
Neither.
That's hard because I, I would rather see Vegas. I think because if we can play like that at home with them, that'd be really fun to see, and just that we win some games. I think both teams playing against have their pros and cons, but I would more likely to more want to see Vegas.
Jess, we kind of
Alright.
struggled against those big teams like Nashville and Vegas. Who would you like to see?
Well, right now I just want to see us in the playoffs. At this point, I don't care who we play because I think we have an equal chance to beat anyone on any given day. We just gotta get our stuff together.
We gotta
Vegas,
have defense.
yeah, exactly. Vegas is a great team. Marc-Andre Fleury is one of the best goaltenders I've ever seen between the pipes, and
Do you think he deserves the Vezina Trophy?
Hell yeah.
I'd
No,
say
Oh
so.
no
God,
questions asked.
yeah, he's a Vesna guy, man.
For sure, yeah.
Well
I
then,
mean,
Matt.
I wouldn't mind seeing.
I mean, Vasilevsky's still. I mean, he's trending off, but he's still a beast. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was Vasilevsky, but Fleury definitely.
What about Pekka Rinne? I mean,
Pekka
he's up there.
he's a monster, and he could definitely win it too. The only reason I say Vasilevsky is because I mean I'm pretty sure Vasilevsky has more shutouts right now. I'm pretty sure he leads the league if I am correct. I'm not 100%. I haven't looked in a while, but the last time I looked, he led the league in shutouts. And shutouts aren't easy to come by, especially on if you have a winning record even close to what Pekka Rinne has, and you have more shutouts. I mean that's not easy to do.
I mean, Pekka Rinne took. I mean, Nashville was just trash, terrible, and look
Oh
what
yeah.
they did last year. Pekka Rinne took them to Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, they didn't win, but I mean, look what I mean. That team is dangerous. Vegas is dangerous, but I mean, I would like to see us play Vegas. I think we
Vegas.
can. I think
Yeah,
we could keep it up with Vegas, but come playoff, if we don't have defense, we're gonna get creamed by either team
I
because
think
those
that's
top
a
lines are, dangerous.
yeah. I
So
think that's a common thread between all of us that we kind of want to see Vegas Knights because we don't know what they'll be in the playoffs because they're an expansion team. This has never been done before in any sport, so I feel like we can be in agreement that we don't know what to expect, and that's kind of I would say a positive. We
Yeah.
know what we would get against Nashville Predators. It would be physical. It'd be a strong game, and I don't think we could contend because we just can't contend with physical teams because I think we're a little small.
I
We're
mean,
not physical enough.
Vegas really doesn't seem like a physical team, but I think Nashville seems a little bit more dominant physically. Vegas, I
Fi-
mean,
Vegas is physical on the forecheck. They're physical, they're different physically.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
Nashville will crush you in their zone. If you get in
They'll
their
kill
zone, they're
you.
gonna try to crush you. Whereas Vegas, as soon as they get into your zone, they try to crush you down low and try to work the puck to the front of the net.
Oh yeah, they'll pass. I mean, if we can, our passes are kind of yeah. I mean, look at all these other teams. Pass and pass, make good passes, set up passes, set up for one timers. I mean, if we could look at all these other teams, passing and playing defense,
But
I
you know
think we
what?
might have a shot.
That's exactly why getting rid of Duchesne was so good for this team because I mean, the biggest puck hog on our team was Duchesne at the time. The guy, all he wanted to do was carry the puck.
Yeah, Duchesne was good. I mean, he was the only one thing he did good was score 30 goals, but he won faceoffs. McKinnon, I really don't see him. I don't think he should be, you know, as a centerman, I think if you put him out on a wing, put someone who can actually win faceoffs, get McKinnon the puck, he's gone.
Yeah,
But
he came. He went out. He just sent a message on the chat saying that he needed it back in.
Yeah, I got him.
so I
But
think
let's talk about. I think the blue line is kind of a common issue between us all, that we just have an issue with it. Let's.
I personally don't.
You don't.
I might be the only one that I don't have a huge issue with it. At the end of the day, I mean, you look at Toronto, their blue line's not that great. I mean, it's decent, but it's not that great. If you can push the pace and keep the puck in the other zone, you don't have to rely on your defense.
Yeah,
I
but
can agree.
Jess, what's your main problem with the blue line, and what do you think needs to be fixed there? Do you think it's veterans that we need, or do you think it's the wrong people there? Or what do you think is not the back check? What do you think?
I think we need veterans
Yeah, I'd say veterans for
to
sure.
help these guys out because yeah, these guys are gonna learn, but you throw them out there into stupid situations, they're not gonna know what to do. If you have a veteran out there, they will learn from. If you have a couple veterans out there, they will learn. You can't just have one rookie line and expect them to do something.
But on the
Yeah.
flip side, though, I mean, our first line does get caught in some stupid situations as well. And
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
all three of them are veterans.
Yeah,
So
McKinnon, Landy.
maybe that might not be the answer.
Well,
I mean,
add
it may
someone
not
with
be.
experience.
Jenna, what do you think? What do you think's the problem with the blue line?
It's just, I think, more experience. I feel like if you had one veteran that could lead them and kind of show them how it is in the NHL, that would help. We just need the experience to me. I feel like they're not really physical enough, but I don't know. I just feel like we need more experience with it.
I mean, I agree with the physical side of it, but we tried that veteran stuff. I mean, Bojerman, oh my God, he killed us.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you, Matt. Well, I think that's all that we have for the show. Do you guys want to talk about anything else? Do you want it, Matt? You wanted to bring up the LA Kings match. I'll let you bring it up.
So, after taking, I mean, we have to talk about the LA Kings match. I mean, 7-1. Come on. How do we let Anze Kopitar, a man that's never scored 4 goals, score 4 goals? And that's not just the defense. That has to do with the forwards, and it goes down to everybody on the team. How do we let that happen?
Well, he's a contender for the Hart Trophy, though. You have to give him some credit.
No, he's ridiculous, but McKinnon's ridiculous too, and you don't see LA letting him score 4 goals.
That's very true, but we struggle against those physical teams. Like, we struggle against Nashville, we struggle against the Kings, we'll struggle against the Ducks, and we might even struggle against the Sharks because that's our road trip right there.
Well, we have a hard time with the Pacific. I mean, Pacific is heavy. They always have been. The LA Kings set the trend for that division. And, I mean, if you play in a division with LA, especially during, 2012 and 2014 when they won the Cups, I mean, you had to be physical to make it through that division with them. So, we're going into a physical division. That's just what it is. Those are the heaviest teams in the NHL, in my opinion. I mean, every time they get in the playoffs, they just crash and bang through the playoffs. Look what the Ducks did to Edmonton.
Vance, how do you see us doing through the California road trip?
It's gonna be rough. I think we have a rough time. If we play San Jose, then we play the Ducks. I think it might be a struggle. We might win one out of those two, but I think it might be a struggle.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a real struggle, to be honest. I'm not really that confident. I was talking to Jenna about this. Jenna, what do you think about the California road trip?
I mean, I don't feel as confident. We struggle with the Pacific, and again, Pacific is a rough division. But I feel like if they want to make it to the playoffs really bad, we have to leave it up to them. If they have to play hard in these games, come out strong out the gates if they're gonna win. And I feel like if they really want it, they're gonna play good.
Jess, are you back in? Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
What do you think about the California road trip?
Well, California's never good to us. Um, I think we can beat the Ducks. I think we can take the Sharks. The Kings just have always just given me a bad feeling.
The King.
They've always been tough. They've always played us tough, and I think if we're gonna lose a game, it's gonna be in Los Angeles.
Do you see us making the playoffs with going 2-1 and hope maybe beating the Blues, so make it 3-1 over those past 4 games? Do you think is that enough?
I'd say so. Because don't those West or Pacific teams don't they have to play each other one more time as well?
Yes, yes, they do.
And then the Blues, they're playing the Capitals, so that's going to be a loss with them. Then they play back to
The
back with the Blackhawks.
Capitals are struggling though. It's not good.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused on what our magic number is. I want to say 97. I think 97 gets us in.
I think it's 97 too. I think that's what the numbers that I was looking at is 97.
Blues are about to go into overtime.
Yeah, I mean, even if they go into overtime, they're only at
They're at 92.
they will be at 92 if they go into OT.
Yeah, they'll be tied with us.
But yeah,
And
that
they have the
California.
tiebreaker, right? Because of the game in
No.
hand.
Yeah, they have the tiebreaker with the game in hand. So.
Oh, Vegas almost scored.
But the
Oh my
California
God.
the California trip is gonna be San Jose. I say might have a chance, but going into Anaheim,
I mean, Anaheim and the Kings. I mean, we're just in a bad spot. I mean, these teams are refusing to lose in regulation.
I
Do you
mean,
think? Do you
if we
think
were
we
playing
put?
them at home, maybe because I mean, look what we did when Patrick Waugh was our coach and we played Anaheim.
Do you think
We
we
beat them,
put
but
our
I think
did this to ourselves, or do you think it kind of was just the luck of the draw? Let's go with you, Jenna.
I think with this, you mean like with the slump
Yeah, with the
right
slump
now?
and everything.
Okay. We kind of did that to ourselves. I feel like we could have, like with the away Vegas game, to take that stupid penalty. And I know it's kind of controversial against if that was a penalty or not, but just stupid mistakes in moments like that have cost us. And now we're playing catch up to go into the playoffs when we're first in a wild card spot in the beginning. I feel like we kind of have done this. We did our grave, and now we have to dig a hole, like a way. We have to dig a lot more to get out of it. So I feel like it's self-made, and I feel like if they really want it, again, they're gonna have to push through these last couple of games.
Jess, you had the Flyers game for us, and there were some obvious offensive struggles. Do you think that could be our nail in the coffin there, or what do you think?
No, because I mean, you saw towards the end of the game, second, third period, the offense really picked it up. They just weren't getting the lucky breaks that the hockey gods grant. Um, I think our offense is fine. I really do. Our top line can run with the best of them. And even the second and third line are good, and our fourth line's scrappy as heck. I think where our weakness is, again, I'll say it again, is defense. And like Bednar said a few weeks ago, we can't be afraid to check the guys. Get them off the puck, disrupt them, disrupt the passing lanes. So many times they're passing right in front of the crease and getting it around the zone. It's like, let's not sit back on our skates here. Let's be aggressive and clear it and set our offense up for success.
well, I think they need to talk more, a lot more talking on the ice. Talk,
Yeah.
talk. It's too
Yeah.
quiet on the ice.
Yeah. I
They
agree.
got to tell, they got to set it up, set it up, set it up, set it up. Start talking on the ice. If you ain't gonna talk, you ain't gonna know what you're gonna do. So if you talk, go towards the net, set up in the slot, blah 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 blah. You gotta talk more.
Yep. Communication is definitely an issue, but I think that trends with the rookie line too, because they're used to being told to be quiet now.
Well, you're playing in the big leagues, kid. You gotta talk.
Yeah. Um, Well, let's have our final thoughts. Let's have our final thoughts on these last 4 games and say what we need to do. Jenna, we'll start with you. What do you think we need to do with these last 4 games?
I think we need to really play defense. Really not be lazy with anything. Don't be timid to hit. Hit guys. I think our rookie line struggles with that. They're kind of scared to hit like the big guns in the league, but you have to because they're scoring goals. Drive to the net, push hard, play hard. I feel like we're kind of playing conservative right now, and that's costing us. Play hard, and because I want to make the playoffs, and I just feel like if we play hard, play good defense, we don't rely on our goalie too much, we could possibly win these last few games and make it to the playoffs. Oh, and by the way, Las
Update
Vegas
the
just
Knights
won.
one.
Thank
Yeah, I
God.
was just gonna say Knights was just
Yay.
one.
Jess, what do you think we need to do in these last 4 games?
3 words. Just win, baby.
Right.
All right, I'll take it. Matt, what do you think?
I personally believe that we need to put in a lot of work. I don't think that we should be relying on solid defensive play. We are a team that pushes the pace. They need to find a way to play through these hits. They need to stop allowing themselves to get caught in positions where they have to cough up the puck. They need to become available for passes so that they can get the puck to the net, so that these defensemen on the other team and forwards have to skate back into their zone and not try to break the puck out from getting a turnover.
All right, Vance, what do you think?
Defense, offense, and the most important thing, key thing, win face-off. Face-off are the key. Because if we are tied, with like 5 seconds left, what's the most important thing? Face-off. If we win the face-off, start setting up, start talking, we could get a goal. But if we lose face-off, we're just gonna lose.
All right, final question. I would just want a yes or no. Do we make the playoffs, Jenna?
Yes, if we push hard.
Jess, do we make the playoffs?
Yes.
Matt?
I'm going to be the asshole and say no. I don't think we do.
Okay, Vance, what do you think?
Maybe.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Oh, I guess I go with, if we have good defense, offense, face-off, forechecking, back checking, I'd say yes.
All right, well, that's the show, ladies and gentlemen.